Okay, I decided to get on here today to talk about the stock market and where things are going. We're involved, it would appear, in something of a correction. I called it a crash yesterday and was told the cars crash, stock market's correct. And I guess that's true. But I think it's important that I share with you my perspective and then you give me your feedback as to whether you think I'm all wet. And what I want to do is use my own life as an example as to where I think this economy is going, where I think that the stock market is going, and what opportunities I think are available to us as investors. I'm told we're in a rotation, that the stock market is rotating towards smaller stocks, rotating away from technology, and that technology isn't in right now, and it may not be for a while, and maybe this is a bubble. And I would ask you, where's it going to rotate to? To Procter and Gamble, to Ford, to General Motors? Those two are just barely keeping up with inflation, so they're on a death march. They aren't going to stay alive if they can't get their sales up above or their revenues up above inflation. They either have to cut their CEO's salary down from 26 million a year, or they need to renegotiate their contract with their union. I don't know. But I think the change in my life, and I'm going to be 80 years old in what, the next 2 months. I think the biggest change in my 80 years, 79 and three quarters, is going to happen in the next 5 years. I mean, cumulatively, I think the change. And I see it not as a, a profit statement for big tech. I see it as an opportunity for people like me, entrepreneurs, people who run businesses, people who are growing businesses. And I want to use my life as an example. I drive a, what is it, an 86 535i BMW, a magnificent car. And I've got two payments left on it. I financed it because my business pays for it. And I got two payments on it. And I needed an oil change because we were going on a trip to the beach about 2 months ago. So I went to my BMW dealer and went in, gave it. They said, I said, how long would it be? They said an hour and a half. And so I basically took a walk around the luxury auto mall that had multiple automobiles for an hour and a half. What do you think that that they have the data in that dealership that they knew that I had two payments left on my BMW? Yes, they have all that data. Do you think that they know that I've owned three BMWs before this one? Yes, they've got that data there. Um, do they have the history of everything that has happened to that car? Yes, they have it. Do you think the manager reached out to me while I was sitting eating his cheap snacks and drinking his water? Do you think he came up to me and said, "Kerry, I understand you have a car that you only have two more payments left on it, and I want to take you out and show you a new hybrid BMW that we've come in for your consideration"? Do you think that happened? No, no. Do you think that one of the salesmen, maybe they were alerted on their desktop computer that, hey, there's a guy in here who paid $60,000 for a car, put it over time, and now he's about to have it come out of payments. You need to spend some time with him. Do you think that happened? No, no, it did not happen. Why didn't it happen? Is it because they don't want to sell me a new car? I don't think that's why. Just last weekend, Aiden came, brought his girlfriend. We took him out to dinner. We took him to our favorite restaurant, Chris Hastings Hot and Hot Fish Shop. Chris is a James Beard recognized chef. It's a magnificent restaurant. We go there almost every year to sell, and somewhere in September, October, to celebrate our birthdays and anniversary. And we've been doing this for probably 8 years, maybe even longer than that. And Chris has gotten to where he recognizes us. He knows us. Do you think they ever ask me for my email address? Do you think Chris ever sends me anything that says, "Hey, I know your anniversary is coming up, Kerry. Why don't you come in and we got a free glass of champagne for you?" Do you think that happens? Do you think he communicates with me in any means whatsoever? No, not at all. But I've been doing it for at least 8, 10 years. Why don't these people market to me? On the other hand, when I go to Amazon, does Amazon remind me that back at least when they sold me NMN, did they remind me that, hey, your bottle is about to run out. You need to order some more? Yes. Do they remind me when my ink cartridges are getting low on my printer? Yes. Well, how do they do that? They have all the data and they run it through their computers in their data centers, and they speak to me in the near future. And if you want to pick up on a stock to buy in this AI revolution, it's Amazon, because what they're going to do is they're not just going to put a picture up in front of me of what I bought last and what I might need now. No, they're going to put a video in front of me, and I'm going to have my personal shopping agent, and he or she is going to help me make decisions of what I wanted to buy. My microphone for my camera stopped working, and so I had to go to the to Amazon, and I had to search through just a myriad of microphones and get the right jack so that I could use my camera again in the future. And it was frustrating. I don't want to buy the wrong thing, and I don't know the current technology. What if no, not what if. When Amazon gets SoundHound into their system, or some other bot program who knows what I need, they will that my buying assistant will come on the screen and say, "What is it you're looking for today, Kerry? What are you going to use it for? What kind of camera do you have? How do you use it? Can you mount it on?" No, I got a flip screen. I can't mount it in this bracket here. I'll show her or him. I can't mark it in that bracket because I use this flip screen. So I can't put my mic up there. I've got to have it on a tripod somewhere else. Oh, then you need that's what Amazon will do for me with everything that I want, whether it's toothpaste or it's my diarrhea control. I will talk to my shopping assistant, who will know me personally, who will know Nita, who will know my grandchildren, who will know my son. They will know everything about me, and we'll have a conversation. Yeah, that's how it'll work. Well, why can't Chris Hastings and why can't the BMW dealer do that? They can if they had a clue, but they don't have a clue. Chris is one of the best chefs in the world. BMW, I don't know about their manager, if he's one of the best managers in the world. But if he had an AI factory, yes, an AI factory, that's made by Dell and Jensen, the NVIDIA, and then ServiceNow will put the software in. And then I'll have a consultant, probably at Dell, that I will be able to explain exactly what I want to do, and they'll stack it with the software, and then I will load my data. Chris will load his data. The BMW will load his data. We will then have access to an avatar that will look exactly like this, have the same voice, and will be programmed so that I or Chris or the BMW dealer do not need to write the script. The script will be written from the data that we have, and we will communicate. Now, what happens then? What happens then if every merchant, if every restaurateur, if every car dealership can market to their own audience? They know their audience. They come in and have their car serviced. They come in and they buy their food. They don't need Amazon anymore. They don't need Google anymore because they're using Amazon and Google and CBS and NBC and ABC to advertise to their market. They know their market. They come into their shop. They come into their auto dealer. They come into their restaurant. I communicate with them through my email. I can have a box, a data center that does everything for me, probably within 3 years. I don't need to advertise. I don't need a Super Bowl ad because I can reach out and I can find maybe the first route. Maybe I use Amazon and I say, I want to speak to every 45 to and up aged individual in the world who manages their own stock portfolio. I want to speak to them. And so I put an ad on Facebook. And because I'm told that only us seniors actually use Facebook because we want to see pictures of our grandchildren. Okay, so I put an ad on Facebook and I get their name. Once I've got their name, I no longer need Facebook. I no longer need Google to do my advertising. I no longer need a Super Bowl ad to do my advertising because I have the names of my market. Oh, I might sprinkle some advertising in there on occasion to get a few more names, but there are 33 million people in the United States who invest their own money in the stock market. Once I hit the 33 million, I know that Google and Amazon and Facebook have nothing to offer me. I have my market. I control my market. When I reach that, I never need to run an ad again in my life. The same is true for Chris Hastings. There is no reason he should advertise to people in New York City. He has a captive market. Once he gets their names, all he's got to do is give them a reason to come to his restaurant. All the BMW dealer needs to do is give his current clients, and then he needs to find a way to find the Lexus and the Mercedes clients, which he can do, and advertise to them and do it in a way that is personal. Just like this. Look them in the eye and tell them you want to help them. You want to make their life better. You understand what they're trying to do, what they're trying to achieve, and you want to help them. And you communicate with them. You don't. I just heard something on Squawk Box this morning that Netflix said they had a good quarter, but they're not looking forward to the future without switching me from commercial free to commercial video. That's why I went to Netflix, to get away from the commercials. And now they're saying they're going to change their business model to give me commercials. I don't want it. They aren't answering my need, but they have my client. So where do I advertise in the future? I advertise to my clients once I identify them, and I use my AI machine to advertise to them. This is where the market is going. What's that got to do with today? It's a few years off to where I can do my own advertising. But the reality is this rotation to other markets. There are no other markets that are going to change my life. Procter & Gamble is not going to make, well, they may make their toilet paper softer and they may make their soap more effective, but that isn't going to change my life. That isn't going to change the life of my grandchildren. No, my life is going to be changed by companies like NVIDIA, like Synopsys. That it's going to be changed by the semiconductor, micron technology. That's what's going to change. And then the next big change is when I wake up, when Chris Hastings wakes up, when the BMW dealer wakes up, we're going to need an AI machine, because somebody's going to come knock on our door and say, "Hey, I just took over the Walgreens store that's been sitting empty for a year now, and I'm loading it up with AI machines, and this can become your server. And we have a service that we're going to help you gather all the data on all of your clients and all of your potential clients. And you'll do all your advertising and communications with your clients through the data center over there in the Walgreens store." No, you don't. No, you don't need to pay for the ads that go on TV anymore, because you do. You know that TV that speaks to the whole world. You're speaking to an audience within what, 50 miles of Birmingham, Alabama. Well, we've got all the names of those people, and we've got all the email addresses of them. We can do, and we've got the technology that all you got to do is sit down and record 3 videos with us, and we'll then turn that into your avatar, and we'll put out ads every week, and we'll send them birthday cards and birthday wishes and anniversary wishes, and we'll tell them that we know their kids are graduating. We will become their friends through you. That's where the world is going. Netflix, I don't know. I'm not going to. If you start throwing ads at me again, I'll go to YouTube and watch videos. I don't want to be bombarded by ads. I want someone to come and talk to me. I want someone to show up on my computer screen and say, "Hey, Kerry, understand that you got 2 more payments left on your BMW. And I see here that you're a business owner. Does your business pay for your BMW?" Well, yeah. Well, let me show you the math, how it makes sense for you to buy a new one through your business and have a electric vehicle, not an electric, but a hybrid or whichever, and how much it'll save your company and you, and what a better ride it'll give you. Why haven't I received that yet? They don't know how to do it. They're clueless. But so is the rest of the world. You aren't anymore. You now know where the world is going. You now know where the opportunity lies. It lies not with Procter and Gamble and not with the small cap rotation. That's nonsense. The price of a stock is based on 2 things: its PE ratio and its earnings per share. If you multiply the 2 together, you've got the price of the stock. So if you know a company is growing, that its revenues are growing at greater than 20% a year, and it's projecting its earnings will grow at a similar rate, well, then you know what the earnings per share are going to be in 2025, 2026, and 2027. You then look at what is their historical PE ratio. And when they're in a growth mode, what is it? When they're in a depressed mode, what is it? And you plug that into an algorithm, and it will tell you what the price of the stock is going to be. Do that on Ford. Do that on General Motors. Do it on Procter and Gamble, and then go do it on NVIDIA. Then go do it on SoundHound. Then go do it on Applied Digital. And you see where you want to put your money as we go through this rotation away from tech. Now, why is that happening? What happened just before this rotation started? I think the biggest thing that happened was an attempted assassination of Donald Trump. And then more recently, the introduction of his vice presidential candidate. And we saw a young guy who had a sense of humor, who was not going after anybody's throat. And I think the decision was made who is our next president of the United States. And then you saw business rally around it, led by Elon Musk, because business said, wow, it's coming, the ball's coming back into our court. And then you saw an interview with Jerome Powell and some of his deputies that are saying, hey, maybe we need to get these interest rates down. No, Wall Street realized there is a tsunami coming of money flowing into big tech in the future. And they said, how can we leverage up our profits? Get the prices down, push those prices down, go in and sell, get the consumer, the retail public panicking, push that price down, and then load up. Well, that's what I'm doing. I dumped $93,000. What was it, last week or earlier this week? I guess it was earlier this week, into ASML. Why did I do that? Without ASML, there are no semiconductors. There are none. I mean, yeah, if you say, well, that's true of Taiwan Semiconductor. No, Samsung makes them as well, and so does Intel. But there is only one company that makes the big box, that makes the wafers, that turns into semiconductors. And it dropped 10%. And I looked at that and said, hey, I've got this $93,000 sitting in cash. Why don't I dump it into ASML and give it about 30 days, and I'll make probably somewhere between 10 and 20%. I'll keep the 20% I made. I'll take my $93,000 back, and I'll go buy into some real growth stocks, some stocks that are going to give me a return of 150%, 360%, AEHR as an example. That was my mental process. That's what I do. That's how I invest. I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. See those over there? Well, let me get this right. Yeah. That's my CFP, CHFC, and CLU. I'm a retired financial advisor. I spent about 15 years building one of the largest financial planning practices in the United States, and I didn't know a damn thing about buying stocks. Then I retired, sold my business in 2005. Went and traveled the world, lost my daughter to cancer in 2014. That's her shirt. She and I rode bikes together in races. So anyway, I got into YouTube. I found my way here, and then I became a stock analyst. And now I know a hell of a lot more about the stock market than I ever did as a financial advisor. And I just want to share it with you. I have a website called Best of Us Investors. And on there, I basically keep track of everything that I do in what I call a cheat sheet. I only specialize or look at stocks in the semiconductor and the AI field, and what's going to change my life over the next 10 years. And I look at stocks who have growing revenues and growing earnings per share. And then I've developed an algorithm that gives me direction as to what the price of that stock's going to be on January the 1st of 2027. Then I need to find my buy-in price. And I've gleaned off of Mark Willett, our stock trade or our swing trading expert. And I can look at a stock, and I can look at Amazon right now. I'm probably going to buy some Amazon today, and I can see where it's going to come down to and where its support level is, and buy it. That's what I did on ASML. Oh, I'm down about 1% from where I bought it, but I'm confident I'll be up 10% within 60 days. That's what I want to teach you to do. And I hope I can get you while you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s. Because if I can, I get a lot of shit about this. I tell people it's possible to build $1 billion Roth IRA. All you've got to do, you understand the rule of 72. If you will divide your rate of return into 72, that will tell you how many years it takes you to double your money. So if you get a return of 72% per year off of your portfolio, it will double every year. Is that possible? Well, I would ask you, are there any stocks in the history of the United States that achieve in excess of 72% per year or a year? Of course there are. Nvidia did it last year. So did Supermicro. So did Vertiv. Will they do it next year? I don't know. But I do know what their earnings are projected to be. I know what their PE ratio is. So all I got to do is plug it into my algorithm and I will know. Will they get me the 72% in my Roth IRA so that when I turn 65 or 70, whatever I choose, I have over $1 billion? Yeah, it's simple math. It's fifth grade math. So that's how I approach investing. I hope that's something you're interested in. And if you are, get on the bus. That's a phrase I started, about 2 years ago. It's our platinum program, costs $60 a month, and you get access to all my information. I may even continue to do these, and where I share my thoughts once a week, and maybe you can become a better investor. Okay, the market is open. I got to get to work, got to do my research, and so I'm going to sign off now if I can figure out how to.